believe we have a movie to review.
Predator 2. We did Predator last time. Did you get a chance to watch Predator 2?
I did indeed.
Yeah, I watched it last night for the probably 95th time. What do
Now,
you
this
think?
is your favorite Predator movie, right?
It is not. I think part one's still my favorite,
Part
but I
one?
still really like part two comes in kind of just behind it, I would say.
I'd agree with that. I was watching it and I was like, so the one thing I noticed is I felt like this one went in way more of a comic booky direction. So you're right, this is set in LA and the people he's hunting are drug dealers, which in the beginning are drug dealers, which I thought was a
And
fun,
police.
smart way to do it. Because I mean, drug dealers, it's a turf war, like the cops aren't going to notice. It's a smart way to like build tension in the film without having people being like, wait a minute, wouldn't people notice a giant alien running through LA killing everybody? But it definitely went in that more comic booky direction, and it like was a little bit sillier, I guess is the word.
Yeah, there was a few parts it went a little bit far, but it had like there was so many great moments in it. Like the opening fight scene was good. The part in the meat packing plant or whatever, that
Mhm.
was cool. There was like a whole lot of cool scenes. And something that I don't know if you realize, but the movie technically is set in the future. It's kind of hard to tell because so much time has gone by, but it came out in 1990, but it was set in
Mhm.
1997. So it's supposed to be 7 years in the future. But now
Right,
that
I
we're
didn't
in
pick up on that.
2024, you can't even tell because it's still like 30 years old.
Well, do you know what's funny? Because I noticed the guy in the subway who pulls the gun out of his briefcase.
Yeah.
That's Bernard Getz. Do you know the story of Bernard Getz?
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah.
That happened in 1984, which was like 6 years before that movie. So
Yeah.
it's kind of funny that they're like looking back and also looking forward.
Yeah, now that you mention it, that was in New York, but it was
Yes.
definitely touching on that. That honestly, that's the if I had to pick a part of the movie I don't like, it's that subway scene, which is unfortunate because I even read somewhere that like they wanted to put that in just because like it sounded like it'd be cool with the strobe lights, but I just
Hmm.
found you couldn't see what the hell happened. The predator kills like 20 people, but it's so dark that you can't and it's
You
like got
can't
caught in
tell
the
what
strobe
happened.
lights. You don't see what's happening. I would like to see someone like on YouTube just go through and like chop up all the frames where it turns black so you could see see the
To
sequence of
see
events.
exactly what happens, like you get like a little stop motion slideshow
Yeah.
play.
It's just like it was such a cool moment that like on paper it like seems like it'd be cool, but that's the only part of the movie that just annoys me because you have like 3 minutes of not even be able to tell what's happening. It's just like flashing images, but I don't want to criticize it too much. And some of the things like the how that big spaceship at the end somehow is in the sewer, like how did it get there with no one noticing? Like they dug up the
Well, like
road and like resealed it, or it was there before they built the city and no one noticed when they were laying the foundation that
they
you know
just kind of appeared there.
yeah, it's some of it kind of strains logic, but for the most part like it was very well done. And I like how it's almost like the Mike Harrigan, the main character, Danny Glover, he was almost like more badass than Arnold. Like Arnold, for the most part, was just trying to run, get away from the predator,
Yeah.
where this guy is like flat out
He's
chasing him
like
down.
grizzled and like trying to like solve the thing, and he's like, I have to say, I don't know who decided that Gary Busey was the perfect replacement for Arnold. Like, I don't know who looked at those two pictures and was like, yep, that's who we're getting, Gary Busey.
It's definitely going a different direction, but his character is definitely memorable. He's
It
kind of
is.
a
It
huge asshole.
absolutely is. His death is memorable too. You know what? I agree with you. They went in a completely. I feel like they were like looking at Predator 1 and they were like, this is the direction that it went in. We're going to go completely the opposite direction. We're going to like
Yeah,
make it bigger. The city is bigger. The scope is bigger. Like the mask is, I would say, better.
yeah, it was a slightly different mask because it was a different predator, but it was
Well, and
still
you can see
same
its throat
species.
moving and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, you could even just like the little bits around his nose and stuff, like were like quivering. I think just the in the 5 years or whatever it was, or 4 years, like the technology, maybe the effects, or maybe they had more budget or something, and they make it just that little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, you could put that, you could, maybe not the whole movie, you could release that movie yesterday and it would be on par with the effects you
Yeah,
see in movies today, I feel like.
yeah, absolutely. And it's kind of like even just like the pacing, the style, the story, like because the first one was kind of like three acts. There was like the opening big action scene, then the middle was the guys getting picked off one by one, and then the
And then
end
we
was
killed the good.
Arnold fighting back. In this one, it was like broken down. There was so it just seemed
There
like
was
there
a
was
lot
more
more. Well,
story
we
to
had
it.
Bill Paxton in there for a little while.
Yeah, we had him. We had the whole like government agency going after. We had the drug war. We had meeting with the
I love
Jamaican
the
gangs
Jamaicans.
and those torture scenes. And then yeah, and then we had the Bill Paxton storyline. And we even got into some stuff with like we saw more of like the Predator and his rules, like how he
He
doesn't kill the
speaks a
kid.
lot more.
Like even though the kid has a gun, it's not a real gun, but he doesn't touch the kid. He doesn't touch the pregnant woman. So we get some more insight into that. And there's like the scene where they have that the Jamaicans have that Colombian guy hung upside down. They're like torturing him.
Voodoo magic.
Yeah, they have like that whole scene where Predator kills people. Then there's like the subway scene, and there's just so many more
What do you
like
think he's
parts
doing
to
with the
it.
skins? Like, I just wondered, is he making like human skin rugs? Is he like
Yeah, like
hanging them up in his home?
because later you see his skulls they have on like some sort of display. But yeah, I don't know what he's doing with the skins. I guess they take them home and stuff them on their home planet and put them in a museum or something. They really never explained that.
I like that. I'm gonna go with that. They like stuff them and put them up there, and there's just like people like there's Arnie just like or like Bill Dukes is just there with a rail gun in their world.
Yeah. And it's interesting too in part two because you get to see him fight like gang members, but then you get to see him fight police.
Hmm.
And it also shows like even on the subway, like there's some like criminals there with guns, but there's also the civilians, like the Bernie Getz guy that just has their
A
arms.
gun
So the
just on
predator's
him.
like, all right, you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, but you have a gun.
You're
Therefore,
an aggressor. I guess I'm an aggressor too.
yeah. So he doesn't either the predator doesn't understand. Like he doesn't understand that oh the criminals had the guns and then the good people had guns too to protect themselves. He either doesn't care or he can't tell the difference. He just sees humans with guns, therefore they're targets.
Well, or if you think about it in terms of hunting, I mean, I've never hunted a goddamn day in my life, so I don't know. But I assume if you're going hunting, you're not trying to shoot the pregnant females and you're not trying to shoot the children because you want to make sure the population stays up so that you can keep hunting them. You're probably going to try and hunt specifically the ones that look like the deer with the biggest horns. And I
Yeah,
guess humans with guns are the deers with the biggest horns.
and I guess that's why they also they go after like it says they go wherever there's conflict. It's usually like soldiers or gang members. It's kind of like the toughest, most violent guys. Because really
Yeah,
they could just go in a farmer's field until they see a hunter like a farmer
pick
with a
people
gun
off.
and pick them off. But that doesn't count, right? They go for like yeah, like the deer with or the moose with the biggest antlers, which would be Arnold Schwarzenegger, like the just like the biggest the guys who would potentially pose the biggest threat.
The conflicts are like hunting zones for them, where it's like hunting season where the conflicts are happening.
Yeah. And as you'll see in part three, which I guess we're gonna do for the
Hell
next show,
yeah.
they kind of take that in a different direction. It'll be interesting to see what you
Oh,
think about that.
interesting.
Yeah.
I'll have
Because
to
they
check
cut
that
in
out.
part two, they say like, oh, he was in Beirut and can't remember what other places they listed, but any place where there's some sort of not necessarily war, but just like conflict going on. So gang members fighting other gang members fighting the police.
Yeah.
It's like that's violent enough that it just attracts their attention. And yeah, the I really like that opening. There's a lot of movies I don't like how when they open the movie with an action scene just to that really doesn't have anything to do with the rest of the movie, just to kind of show the main characters doing something exciting. Some of those I don't really like. Like in Hannibal, I hate that opening scene with the shootout because it doesn't seem like it fits the style of the movie.
Fair enough. Yeah, especially in Hannibal, it's such a like left turn from what ends up
Yeah, like it
happening.
turns into like a Die Hard movie where it shouldn't. But in the Predator movies, both of them, I like the opening fight scenes where it's just showing the conflict and they're well done and it obviously it's not a real world like Los Angeles in the future or past is never that bad. But I just like their portrayal of it where it's like it's just complete anarchy. Like police are losing control. It's just like gangs ruling the streets and the police are doing what they can. Like it was cool for that movie, but it was hardly realistic. Like you said, it was a definite like cartoon portrayal of it.
It was cartoony, which I mean, I'm not 100% mad at. I feel like that's the route you want to go. I'm curious to see where Predator 3 takes place in, but like yeah, they could have gone the horror route, which is like, okay, there's this invisible thing that's running around killing people, or they could have gone the like Saturday morning cartoon where like there's this thing and it's just wasting everybody, and here's a cop who's gonna have to take them.
Yeah, it was like it was definitely borderline cartoony, but it never went. I'm like kind of the more modern Predator movies, almost they take a lot of it too far because they can do things easier. Where I like it,
Mm.
where like the Predator kind of like he's a hunter and he's skilled, so he kind of comes in even if there's multiple guys, like he kind of surveys so he knows what he's doing, so he can then jump down and take them out one by one. But it's not just like full on like where everything he does looks cool, where he's like all of a sudden becomes like a ninja and
Yeah, he's
John
like,
Wick style takes him out. It's like
although they
it's
did have him perched on a ledge. I love that scene of him perched on a ledge.
that that cover did when he got hit by lightning. That was a bit cartoony. Honestly, if I could go back and edit the movie, I would cut that part out. But
Cut that far. It's very like Batman Saturday morning cartoon where
yeah,
he's just perched
or
watching this.
or Spawn or any of the other
Yeah.
guys that like to perch on the edge of things. But yeah, overall, I would say like there's a lot of hate for that movie online, like even among Predator fans. I don't
Huh.
get it because it's not
It's
quite as good as
just
the
as good
first.
as one, I'd say. Like I kept trying to decide if the silliness made it worse or better than one, and I feel like it makes it just as good. It's a different story, but like I didn't enjoy it any less than I enjoyed one.
Yeah, I would give it like a 0.1 or something less than the first. Or it wasn't like if I had to pick part one's better, but part two is still like very good movie. Like
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I think so. I'd probably go with yeah, if we're going by the point system, then I'd give it like an 8.8, 8.9,
yeah,
whereas I gave Predator 1 a 9. If we're going by like just regular grades, yeah, they're both nines to me.
yeah. I think it's definitely a movie that's overlooked. Predators is what the next one's called. That one's definitely more divisive, and I'm still
Oh.
kind of on the fence. It's kind of like every time I watch it, I hate it, and then I watch it again, and it's like actually it's pretty cool. So I'm gonna watch it again over the next day or two. So the next show we can review that and kind of discuss our thoughts on it. I'm interested to see as a newer Predator person, what your
What I
thoughts
think
would
of
be.
three, I'm very excited. Yeah, I'm excited to see where it takes place, who's in it. Like, I'm gonna go into this completely blind. I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna be expected to be like surprised and entertained.
I'm sure you will be.
All right, see you guys later.